So my name's Dr. Ingrid Visser and I run the Orca Research Trust in New Zealand. So on a daily basis, the Orca Research Trust revolves naturally around orca and anything to do with them. So it's going out on the water to study them out in the field. It's also writing scientific articles, trying to help legislation being passed to protect them, but it's also involved with rescuing them when they get stuck on the beach. It's really hard to say exactly when I got started working with the orca because I've had a fascination with them ever since I was a kid. If you had to put a number on it, around 20 years, I guess, officially. You go and see them in a place like SeaWorld and they're in these barren environments, and when I'm in those sort of places and I'm gathering data, I just have to think back to, you know, what's going on in the wild and that we're trying to help the ones that are in captivity. One of the issues that orca face is that they are such remarkable animals, and because of that people want to see them up close and personal. So there are other people who want to make a profit from that. I'm here in Miami to see Lolita the orca, who's in captivity just over there. It's a real mission for me to be here in terms of a mission to get education out to the public about what's going on, but it's also a mission because I care about her. A lot of the PR with these aquariums like SeaWorld, like Miami Sea Aquarium, that keep whales and dolphins in captivity is they say that it's for educational purposes. But I just can't see how it's education. You know, if it was education, surely we'd be educated enough by now. You know, as adults, we have grown up with these animals in captivity, so we should be the ones that are shutting it down now. As a scientist, I find it something that I have to do to try and help these animals. From a personal point of view, it's not just a mission of passion, it's also a mission of compassion. How can they call that education? It's really been inspiring for me to want to speak out for these animals that are in captivity because they have no voice. So I feel with my knowledge that I've learned about them in the wild, being able to apply that and show what's wrong with what's going on in captivity, it's such an important aspect for me as an individual and what I'm doing with my life.
It was there near Whangarei that a killer whale was stranded. A call came through to Dr. Ingrid Visser. You'll know Ingrid, she's the orca researcher, and Steve works with her. This from Jill Higgins.
They're fighting the sea to save a life. It's exhausting for the rescuers and their whale. It's a bit like having a baby.
You'll get you out to your mummy soon, eh?
You wait and wait and wait, then summon up all your strength for the big final push. So Mum collects her boy after a day at the seaside they'll never forget.
Wow, how cool is that, eh?
What does it do to you when you see them in a place like this?
This makes me feel ill. It makes me feel disgusted that humanity can do this to these amazing, intelligent animals and think it's okay to sit there and clap and laugh, and it's very demeaning for the animals. They have no choice.
But I mean, arguably, the audience clapping and stuff, that's not them, you know, it's not because of them that these orcas are here, that's because of the park, but it's, I suppose...
No, the orca are here because of the people.
I'm interested in finding out how she deals with resistance to what she believes in.
Because there's always that thin line as well, isn't there, between you sounding like you're, excuse the term, but a crazy activist.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, to the general public, and also being someone that's actually really informing them about something real and realistic and that they can relate to and believe, you know?
Yeah.
So how do you fight that battle?
Well, you know, what I always do is I present the facts.
Yeah.
And then the facts speak for themselves. So as a scientist, if you can present the facts, then it's logical to then take the next step and go, okay, well, that's not really what we should be doing. People pay to go and see that. They're brainwashed into thinking that this is a really good thing to see and a good thing to do. It's family entertainment. And they just don't seem to realise how much these animals suffer. Here in captivity, we see stereotypic behaviours. And these are abnormal, repetitive behaviours that have no outwardly obvious function. So, for example, staring at a concrete wall. Because, you know, most people, they're not malicious. Most people, when they see these animals and you explain it to them and you show them these behaviours and you say, do you think that's normal? Do you think that an animal lying at the bottom of the tank staring at the wall is good for it? And then they go, well, when you put it that way, no. Then they kind of get it. We really, as individuals, need to make that effort. And every one of us can by saying that we will not buy a ticket to any place that keeps a whale or dolphin in captivity.
Would you comment on Dr. Cannell's analysis? And in a follow-up to that, have you personally tested or examined the water quality at Marineland? Then I have one more question for you after that.
I don't think anybody wants to call into question anybody else's qualifications or abilities or opinions. But the fact of the matter is that water quality is not the criteria that is the key for looking at the welfare of the animals. It's one of many things that we look at.
One that you used in your brief.
Yes, indeed, sir. I did, and amongst the 27 others that are listed by other scientists when they look at the welfare.
I'm asking you about one. Do you agree with Dr. Cannell that it is among the cleanest water around?
No, I do not, sir. I do not. I specifically saw, when I was there 3 days ago, the staff washing from a platform, pushing poop into the water and then using detergent to scrub the facilities and then washing that detergent into the water. Now, I have that on video if you would like to see that. So that's one example that I saw. I'm not given the option to go in and test those facilities for the water quality. No, sir, I haven't, but that is not the point. The point of the matter is that the facility is not up to standard. It's not good enough for these animals.
I would like an answer to whether you believe in personhood, because I think it's relative, and so I'm asking the question.
Senator, you may ask me the question and you may attempt to bully me on the answer, but I refer again that this is not relevant to the bill, and so therefore there is no reason for me to respond to that question. Whether I believe in personhood for animals or not is irrelevant to the testimony that I'm putting forward for this bill, which is that cetaceans should not be kept in captivity.
How do a pair of orca that are possibly injured or compromised take on a 16-foot adult great white? To find out how they may have pulled it off, shark filmmaker Andy Casagrande is studying how orca kill sharks in New Zealand. His guide, orca expert Dr. Ingrid Visser.
Yes, I've seen them hunting sharks, and lots of different species of sharks too.
Why would an orca target a great white shark? Orcas hunting great whites just sounds like a celebrity deathmatch battle that just doesn't seem real.
When you realise that orca, just like us, have culture, and one of the driving forces of that culture is the type of prey that they hunt, and then how they actually deal with that prey.
My whole life I've been saying great white sharks are the apex predators of the ocean, but now I'm starting to realize the harsh reality is that orcas are truly the top predators.
Yeah, because orca eat sharks for breakfast, buddy.
Oh no!
So when I set up the Orca Research Trust, one of the things that I wanted to be sure of was that there was an educational component to what we were doing. I wanted the public to know more about these animals and what they could do to protect them. And as part of that, one of the things that I wanted to find out was, how are these animals affected by humans? He's got a ray right now. So, they hit an eagle ray, and you can actually see the teeth marks in it from where they've been holding it and ripping it apart, and it looks like they're feeding on primarily the liver. And that's a real concern for me, because the liver is the filter organ. And the filter organ, of course, has a concentration of all the pollutants and contaminants in the harbour. So this will be really good to analyse and see what pollutants are being passed on to the orca. We hope to be able to continue on with that research, and that's really why we need support, because we don't get funding from the government and we rely solely on donations coming in from the public. We're coming to understand that we can have a big impact on what's going on in the ocean and therefore with animals like orca. So if we can do something to reduce that impact, I think that would be a really, really good start.